Can you hear me? Hearken to my voice. Happy Tuesday. Dog. Ooh, I somehow always forget how fucking fire this series of 4 chapters is. I'm so pleased to be right up in the middle of it. What up, Stang? Nice to have you here. Thank you for being here as per usual. Thank you for coming to class. There will be a quiz. So, honestly, in the interest of being able to have a little nice time with this one, it's not that long of a chapter, so hoi hoi, what up? Yeah. If you're not on the Rogue Print Co Discord, sorry, you should get in there. But also, yo, what up, Isaac? Quiz, do you have time to study? You have all the time in the world. All right. I'm a terrible instructor. I'm never going to administer a quiz. The quiz is in your heart. Fresh Prince, literally anytime you want to talk about the Andy Serkis audiobook, my feelings are complex, multifaceted, and, I don't dislike the man, but the chokehold he currently has on everyone's understanding of what makes a good audiobook needs to be studied, possibly by me. Who knows? As if I don't already have enough going on. But yeah, I'm glad y'all are here. What up, SH? Thank y'all for being here. I love when the whole fam is here with me. We're going to get going on Two Towers, Book 3, Chapter 10, Chapter X, The Voice of Saruman. Fresh Prince, exactly. Andy Serkis is great. Love him very much. Sometimes I'm like, can he take a vacation? Zephyr, what up? I love it. I was on time. Everyone's on time. We're cool and we're loving it. Also, real quick, Andy Serkis and Andor. So good. So good. Yeah, and also, I don't know. I grew up watching the special features of Lord of the Rings and being like, what a weird man Andy Serkis is. I would never think that Andy Serkis is kind of a daddy, but then I saw Black Panther, so that's just evidence that everyone can grow and change. And yeah, Andor fucks. If you haven't seen Andor yet, get in there. Anyway, here we go. Book 3, Chapter 10, Voice of Saruman. One way out, I can't swim. Chapter 10, Voice of Saruman. Damn it, I get along with chat too well now. I'm going to waste all of our time. They passed through the ruined tunnel and stood upon a heap of stones, gazing at the dark rock of Orthanc and its many windows, a menace still in the desolation that lay all about it. A menace still in the desolation that lay all about it. The waters had now nearly all subsided. Here and there, gloomy pools remained, covered with scum and wreckage, but most of the wide circle was bare again, a wilderness of slime and tumbled rock, pitted with blackened holes and dotted with posts and pillars leaning drunkenly this way and that. At the rim of the shattered bowl there lay vast mounds and slopes, like the shingles cast up by a great storm, and beyond them the green and tangled valley ran up into the long ravine between the dark arms of the mountains. Across the waste they saw riders picking their way. They were coming from the north side, and already they were drawing near to Orthanc. "There is Gandalf and Theoden and his men," said Legolas. "Let us go and meet them." "Walk warily," said Merry. "There are loose slabs that may tilt up and throw you down into a pit if you don't take care." Which, I don't know if anyone else is mourning the loss of the lack of a Orthanc-themed platformer video game based on that line alone, but video game devs, sound off in the chat. They followed what was left of the road from the gates to Orthanc, going slowly, for the flagstones were cracked and slimed. The riders, seeing them approach, halted under the shadow of the rock and waited for them. Gandalf rode forward to meet them. "Well, Treebeard and I have had some interesting discussions and made a few plans," he said, "and we have all had some much-needed rest. Now we must be going on again. I hope you companions have all rested too and refreshed yourselves." We have, said Mary, but our discussions began and ended in smoke. Still, we feel less ill-disposed towards Saruman than we did. Do you indeed? Said Gandalf. Well, I do not. I have now a last task to do before I go. I must pay Saruman a farewell visit. Dangerous and probably useless, but it must be done. Those of you who may wish those of you who wish may come with me, but beware, and do not jest. This is not the time for it. I will come, said Gimli. I wish to see him and learn if he really looks like you. And how will you learn that, Master Dwarf? Said Gandalf. Saruman could look like me in your eyes if it suited his purpose with you. And are you yet wise enough to detect all his counterfeits? Well, we shall see, perhaps. He may be shy of showing himself before many different eyes together. But I have ordered all the Ents to remove themselves from sight, so perhaps we shall persuade him to come out. What's the danger? Asked Pippin. Will he shoot at us and pour fire out of the windows, or can he put a spell on us from a distance? The last is most likely, if you ride to his door with a light heart, said Gandalf, but there is no knowing what he can do or may choose to try. A wild beast cornered is not safe to approach, and Saruman has powers you do not guess. Beware of his voice. Ooh. Okay, sorry, chat catching up. Sting, I have not watched it yet, unfortunately. I've had extremely limited TV time for reasons that will become clear in a couple weeks, I hope. But I do need to watch it. I'm like, ooh, I need to just like get a little old fashioned and sit with it. And yeah, chat, LMAO girl. I thought Vigo was greasy when I was a kid, and then I became a woman. Vigo mentioned wood. Vigo Aragorn opening the double doors. Yeah, Fresh Prince, 1-to-1 Orthanc. We already have that little stone claw in Southend. It's already started. Let's go. And then, oh, Vigo, yeah, obviously. My personal gay awakening was special features Sam and Rosie's wedding, Vigo and Billy kissing behind the camera. Really important for me personally, that one. They came now to the foot of Orthanc. It was black, and the rock gleamed as if it were wet. The many faces of the stone had sharp edges, as though they had been newly chiseled. A few scorings and small flake-like splinters near the base were all the marks that it bore of the fury of the Ents. On the eastern side, in the angle of two piers, there was a great door high above the ground, and over it was a shuttered window opening upon a balcony hedged with iron bars. Up to the threshold of the door there mounted a flight of 27 broad stairs, hewn by some unknown art of the same black stone. This was the only entrance to the tower, but many tall windows were cut with deep embrasures in the climbing walls. Far up they peered like little eyes in the sheer faces of the horns. At the foot of the stairs, Gandalf and the king dismounted. I will go up, said Gandalf. I have been in Orthanc and know my peril. And I too will go up, said the king. I am old and fear no peril any more. I wish to speak with the enemy who has done me so much wrong. Eomer shall come with me and see that my aged feet do not falter. As you will, said Gandalf. Aragorn shall come with me. Let the others await us at the foot of the stairs. They will see and hear enough, if there is anything to hear or see. Nay, said Gimli, Legolas and I wish for a closer view. We alone here represent our kindreds. We also will come behind. Come then, said Gandalf, and with that he climbed the steps, and Theoden went beside him. The riders of Rohan sat uneasily upon their horses on either side of the stair, and looked up darkly at the great tower, fearing what might befall their lord. Merry and Pippin sat on the bottom step, feeling both unimportant and unsafe. Half a sticky mile from here to the gate, muttered Pippin. I wish I could slip off back to the guardroom unnoticed. What did we come for? We're not wanted. Gandalf stood before the door of Orthanc and beat on it with his staff. It rang with a hollow sound. Saruman! Saruman! He cried in a loud, commanding voice. Saruman, come forth. For some time there was no answer. At last the window above the door was unbarred, but no figure could be seen at its dark opening. Who is it? Said a voice. What do you wish? Theoden started. I know that voice, he said, and I curse the day when I first listened to it. Go and fetch Saruman, since you have become his footman, Grima Wormtongue, said Gandalf, and do not waste our time. Chat, no Hobbit representatives at this meeting? Right? Like, Gimli and Legolas are up there. The hobbits don't want to climb exactly 27 steps, apparently. The window closed. They waited. Suddenly, another voice spoke, low and melodious, its very sound an enchantment. Those who listened unwarily to that voice could seldom report the words that they had heard, and if they did, they wondered, for little power remained in them. Mostly, they remembered only that it was a delight to hear the voice speaking. All that it said seemed wise and reasonable, and desire awoke in them by swift agreement to seem wise themselves. When others spoke, they seemed harsh and uncouth by contrast, and if they gainsayed the voice, anger was kindled in the hearts of those under the spell. For some, the spell lasted only while the voice spoke to them, and when it spoke to another, they smiled, as men do who see through a juggler's trick while others gape at it. For many, the sound of the voice alone was enough to hold them enthralled, but for those whom it conquered, the spell endured when they were far away, and ever they heard that soft voice whispering and urging them. But none were unmoved. None rejected its pleas and its commands without an effort of mind and will, so long as its master had control of it. Yes. Oh, that's how you fucking describe magic without using the word magic. Ugh. Well, it said now with gentle question, why must you disturb my rest? Will you give me no peace at all by night or day? Its tone was that of a kindly heart aggrieved by injuries undeserved. They looked up, astonished, for they had heard no sound of his coming, and they saw a figure standing at the rail, looking down upon them. An old man, swathed in a great cloak, the color of which was not easy to tell, for it changed if they moved their eyes or if he stirred. His face was long, with a high forehead. He had deep, darkling eyes, hard to fathom, though the look that they now bore was grave and benevolent, and a little weary. His hair and beard were white, but strands of black still showed about his lips and ears. Like, and yet unlike, muttered Gimli. But come now, said the soft voice. Two at least of you I know by name. Gandalf I know too well to have much hope that he seeks help or counsel here. But you, Theoden, Lord of the Mark of Rohan, are declared by your noble devices, and still more by the fair countenance of the house of Errol. O worthy son of Thengel, the thrice renowned, why have you not come before, and as a friend? Much have I desired to see you, mightiest king of western lands, and especially in these latter years to save you from the unwise and evil counsels that beset you. Is it yet too late? Despite the injuries that have been done to me, in which the men of Rohan, alas, have had some part, still I would save you and deliver you from the ruin that draws nigh inevitably, if you ride upon this road which you have taken. Indeed, I alone can aid you now. Theoden opened his mouth as if to speak, but he said nothing. He looked up at the face of Saruman with its dark, solemn eyes bent down upon him, and then to Gandalf at his side, and he seemed to hesitate. Gandalf made no sign, but stood silent as stone, as one waiting patiently for some call that has not yet come. The riders stirred at first, murmuring with approval of the words of Saruman, and then they too were silent, as men spellbound. It seemed to them that Gandalf had never spoken so fair and fittingly to their lord. Rough and proud now seemed all his dealings with Theoden, and over their hearts crept a shadow, the fear of a great danger. The end of the mark in a darkness to which Gandalf was driving them, while Saruman stood beside a door of escape, holding it half open so that a ray of light came through. There was a heavy silence. It was Gimli the dwarf who broke in suddenly. The words of this wizard stand on their heads, he growled, gripping the handle of his axe. In the language of Orthanc, help means ruin, and saving means slaying, that is plain. But we do not come here to beg. Peace, said Saruman, and for a fleeting moment his voice was less suave, and a light flickered in his eyes and was gone. I do not speak to you yet, Gimli, Glowin's son, he said. Far away is your home, and small concern of yours are the troubles of this land. But it was not by design of your own that you became embroiled in them, and so I will not blame such part as you have played. A valiant one, I doubt not. But I pray you allow me first to speak with the king of Rohan, my neighbor, and once my friend. What have you to say, Theoden King? Will you have peace with me and all the aid that my knowledge, founded in long years, can bring? Shall we make our counsels together against evil days and repair our injuries with such goodwill that our estate shall both come to fairer flower than ever before? Still, Theoden did not answer. Whether he strove with anger or doubt, none could say. Eomer spoke. Lord, hear me, he said. Now we feel the peril that we were warned of. Have we ridden forth to victory, only to stand at last amazed by an old liar with honey on his forked tongue? So would the trapped wolf speak to the hounds if he could. What aid can he give to you, forsooth? All he desires is to escape from his plight. But will you parley with this dealer in treachery and murder? Remember Theodred at the fords, and the grave of Hema in Helm's Deep. If we speak of poisoned tongues, what shall we say of yours, young serpent? Said Saruman, and the flash of his anger was now plain to see. But come, Eomer, Eomen's son, he went on in his soft voice again. To every man his part. Valor in arms is yours, and you win high honor thereby. Slay whom your lord names as enemies, and be content. Meddle not in policies which you do not understand. But maybe, if you become a king, you will find that he must choose his friends with care. The friendship of Saruman and the power of Orthanc cannot be lightly thrown aside, whatever grievances real or fancied may lie behind. You have won a battle, but not a war, and that with help on which you cannot count again. You may find the shadow of the wood at your own door next. It is wayward and senseless, and has no love for men. But, my lord of Rohan, am I to be called a murderer because valiant men have fallen in battle? If you go to war needlessly, for I did not desire it, then men will be slain. But if I am a murderer on that account, then all the house of Errol is stained with murder, for they have fought many years and assailed many who defied them. Yet, with some, they have afterwards made peace, none the worse for being politic. I say, Theoden King, shall we have peace and friendship, you and I? It is ours to command. We will have peace, said Theoden at last, thickly and with an effort. Several of the riders cried out gladly. Theoden held up his hand. Yes, we will have peace, he said, now in a clear voice. We will have peace when you and all your works have perished, and the works of your dark master to whom you would deliver us. You are a liar, Saruman, and a corrupter of men's hearts. You hold out your hand to me, and I perceive only a finger of the claw of Mordor, cruel and cold. Even if your war on me was just, as it was not, for were you 10 times as wise, you would have no right to rule me and mine for your own profit as you desired. Even so, what will you say of your tortures in Westfold and the children that lie dead there? And they hewed Hama's body before the gates of the Hornburg after he was dead. When you hang from a gibbet at your own window for the sport of your own crows, I will have peace with you and Orthanc. So much for the house of Errol. A lesser son of great sires am I, but I do not need to lick your fingers. Turn elsewhither, but I fear your voice has lost its charm. The riders gazed up at Theoden like men startled out of a dream. Harsh as an old raven's, their master's voice sounded in their ears after the music of Saruman. But Saruman, for a while, was beside himself with wrath. He leaned over the rail as if he would smite the king with his staff. To some, suddenly, it seemed that they saw a snake coiling itself to strike. Gibbets and crows, he hissed, and they shuddered at the hideous change. Dotard, what is the house of Errol but a thatched barn where brigands drink in the reek, and their brats roll on the floor amongst the dogs? Too long had they escaped the gibbet themselves. But the noose comes, slow in the drawing, tight and hard in the end. Hang if you will. Now, his voice changed as he slowly mastered himself. I know not why I have the patience to speak to you, for I need you not, nor your little band of gallopers as swift to fly as to advance, Theoden, horsemaster. Long ago I offered you a state beyond your merit and your wit. I have offered it again, so that those whom you mislead may clearly see the choice of roads. You give me brag and abuse. So be it. Go back to your huts. But you, Gandalf, for you at least I am grieved, feeling for your shame. How comes it that you can endure such company? For you are proud, Gandalf, and not without reason, having a noble mind and eyes that look both deep and far. Even now, will you not listen to my counsel? Gandalf stirred and looked up. What have you to say that you did not say at our last meeting? He asked. Or perhaps you have things to unsay? Saruman paused. Unsay? He mused, as if puzzled. Unsay? I endeavored to advise you for your own good, but you scarcely listened. You are proud and do not love advice, having indeed a store of your own wisdom. But on that occasion you erred, I think, misconstruing my intentions wilfully. I fear that in my eagerness to persuade you I lost patience, and indeed I regret it. For I bore you no ill will, and even now I bear none, though you return it to me in the company of the violent and the ignorant. How should I? Are we not both members of a high and ancient order, most excellent in Middle-earth? Our friendship would profit us both alike. Much we could still accomplish together to heal the disorders of the world. Let us understand one another and dismiss from thought these lesser folk. Let them wait on our decisions. For the common good, I am willing to redress the past and to receive you. Will you not consult with me? Will you not come up? So great was the power that Saruman exerted in this last effort that none that stood within hearing were unmoved. But now the spell was wholly different. They heard the gentle remonstrance of a kindly king with an erring but much loved minister. But they were shut out, listening at a door to words not meant for them. Ill-mannered children or stupid servants overhearing the elusive discourse of their elders and wondering how it would affect their lot. Of loftier mold these two were made, reverend and wise. It was inevitable that they should make alliance. Gandalf would ascend into the tower to discuss deep things beyond their comprehension in the high chambers of Orthanc. The door would be closed, and they would be left outside, dismissed to await allotted work or punishment. Even in the mind of Theoden, the thought took shape, like a shadow of a doubt. He will betray us. He will go. We shall be lost. Then Gandalf laughed. The fantasy vanished like a puff of smoke. Saruman, Saruman, said Gandalf, still laughing. Ah, Saruman, you missed your path in life. You should have been the king's jester and earned your bread and stripes too by mimicking his counselors. Ah, me. He paused, getting the better of his mirth. Understand one another? I fear I am beyond your comprehension. But you, Saruman, I understand now too well. I keep a clearer memory of your arguments and deeds than you suppose. When I last visited you, you were the jailer of Mordor, and there I was to be sent. Nay, the guest who has escaped from the roof will think twice before he comes back in by the door. Nay, I do not think I will come up. But listen, Saruman, for the last time. Will you not come down? Noodle, come on. You can come in. Come on. Good girl. Yep, okay. Hello. But listen, Saruman, for the last time. Will you not come down? Isengard has proved less strong than your hope and fancy make it. So may other things in which you still have trust. Would it not be well to leave it for a while, to turn to new things, perhaps? Think well, Saruman. Will you not come down? A shadow passed over Saruman's face, then it went deathly white. Before he could conceal it, they saw through the mask the anguish of a mind in doubt, loathing to stay and dreading to leave its refuge. For a second he hesitated, and no one breathed. Then he spoke, and his voice was shrill and cold. Pride and hate were conquering him. Chat, what up? Yeah, she literally came in because I kept saying come. Noodle says hello. She's down here getting pets. And yeah, I have a lot to come back to after I'm done with the chapter. So I'm going to keep plunging forward. Will I come down? He mocked. Does an unarmed man come down to speak with robbers out of doors? I can hear you well enough here. I am no fool, and I do not trust you, Gandalf. They do not stand openly on my stairs, but I know where the wild wood demons are lurking at your command. The treacherous are ever distrustful, answered Gandalf wearily, but you need not fear for your skin. I do not wish to kill you or hurt you, as you would know if you really understood me, and I have the power to protect you. I am giving you a last chance. You can leave Orthanc free if you choose. That sounds well, sneered Saruman, very much in the manner of Gandalf the Grey, so condescending and so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthanc commodious and my departure convenient, but why should I wish to leave? And what do you mean by free? There are conditions, I presume? Reasons for leaving you can see from your windows, answered Gandalf. Others will occur to your thought. Your servants are destroyed and scattered. Your neighbors you have made your enemies, and you have cheated your new master, or tried to do so. When his eye turns hither, it will see the red eye of wrath. It will be the red eye of wrath, pardon me. But when I say free, I mean free. Free from bond, of chain, or command, to go where you will, even to Mordor, Saruman, if you desire. But you will first surrender to me the key of Orthanc and your staff. They shall be pledges of your conduct, to be returned later if you merit them. Saruman's face grew livid, twisted with rage, and a red light was kindled in his eyes. He laughed wildly. Later, he cried, and his voice rose to a scream. Later? Yes, when you also have the keys of Barad-dûr itself, I suppose, and the crowns of 7 kings, and the rods of the 5 wizards, and have purchased yourself a pair of boots many sizes larger than those that you wear now. A modest plan, hardly one in which my help is needed. I have other things to do. Do not be a fool. If you wish to treat with me while you have a chance, go away and come back when you are sober. And leave behind these cutthroats and small ragtag that dangle at your tail. Good day. He turned and left the balcony. Come back, Saruman, said Gandalf in a commanding voice. To the amazement of the others, Saruman turned again, and, as if dragged against his will, he came slowly back to the iron rail, leaning on it, breathing hard. His face was lined and shrunken. His hand clutched his heavy black staff like a claw. I did not give you leave to go, said Gandalf sternly. I have not finished. You have become a fool, Saruman, and yet pitiable. You might still have turned away from folly and evil and been of service. But you choose to stay and gnaw the ends of your old plots. Stay then, but I warn you, you will not easily come out again, not unless the dark hands of the East stretch out to take you, Saruman. Oh, stretch out to take you. Saruman, he cried, and his voice grew in power and authority. Behold, I am not Gandalf the Grey, who you betrayed. I am Gandalf the White, who has returned from death. You have no color now, and I cast you from the Order and from the Council. He raised his hand and spoke slowly in a clear, cold voice. Saruman, your staff is broken. There was a crack, and the staff split asunder in Saruman's hand, and the head of it fell down at Gandalf's feet. Go, said Gandalf. With a cry, Saruman fell back and crawled away. At that moment, a heavy, shining thing came hurtling down from above. It glanced off the iron rail, even as Saruman left it, and passing close to Gandalf's head, it smote the stair on which he stood. The rail rang and snapped. The stair cracked and splintered in glittering sparks. But the ball was unharmed. It rolled on down the steps, a globe of crystal, dark, but glowing with heart of fire. As it bounded away towards a pool, Pippin ran after it and picked it up. The murderous rogue, cried Éomer. But Gandalf was unmoved. No, that thing was not thrown by Saruman, he said, nor even at his bidding, I think. It came from a window far above. A parting shot from Master Wormtongue, I fancy, but ill-aimed. The aim was poor, maybe, because he could not make up his mind which he hated more, you or Saruman, said Aragorn. That may be so, said Gandalf. Small comfort will those two have in their companionship. They will gnaw one another with words. But the punishment is just. If Wormtongue ever comes out of Orthanc alive, it will be more than he deserves. Here, my lad, I'll take that. I did not ask you to handle it, he cried, turning sharply and seeing Pippin coming up the steps slowly, as if he were bearing a great weight. He went down to meet him and hastily took the dark globe from the hobbit, wrapping it in the folds of his cloak. I will take care of this, he said. It is not a thing, I guess, that Saruman would have chosen to cast away. But he may have other things to cast, said Gimli. If that is the end of the debate, let us go out of stone's throw at least. It is the end, said Gandalf. Let us go. Gimli's grasp of a double entendre. He may have other things to cast. Come on. They turned their backs on the doors of Orthanc and went down. The riders hailed the king with joy and saluted Gandalf. The spell of Saruman was broken. They had seen him come at call and crawl away dismissed. Well, that is done, said Gandalf. Now I must find Treebeard and tell him how things have gone. He will have guessed, surely, said Merry. Were they likely to end any other way? Not likely, answered Gandalf, though they came to the balance of a hair. But I had reasons for trying, some merciful and some less so. First, Saruman was shown that the power of his voice was waning. He cannot be both tyrant and counselor. When the plot is ripe, it remains no longer secret. Yet he fell into the trap and tried to deal with his victims piecemeal while others listened. Then I gave him a last choice and a fair one, to renounce both Mordor and his private schemes, and to make amends by helping us in our need. He knows our need, none better. Great service he could have rendered, but he has chosen to withhold it and keep the power of Orthanc. He will not serve, only command. He lives now in terror of the shadow of Mordor, and yet he still dreams of riding the storm. Unhappy fool. He will be devoured if the power of the East stretches out its arms to Isengard. We cannot destroy Orthanc from without, but Sauron, who knows what he can do? And what if Sauron does not conquer? What will you do to him? Said Pippin. I? Nothing, said Gandalf. I will do nothing to him. I do not wish for mastery. What will become of him? I cannot say. I grieve that so much that was good now festers in the tower. Still, for us, things have not gone badly. Strange are the turns of fortune. Often does hatred hurt itself. I guess that, even if we had entered in, we could have found few treasures in Orthanc more precious than the thing which Wormtongue threw down at us. A shrill shriek, suddenly cut off, came from an open window high above. It seems that Saruman thinks so too, said Gandalf. Let us leave them. The girls are fighting. They returned now to the ruins of the gate. Hardly had they passed out under the arch when, from among the shadows of the piled stones where they had stood, Treebeard and a dozen other Ents came striding up. Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas gazed at them in wonder. Here are 3 of my companions, Treebeard, said Gandalf. I have spoken of them, but you have not yet seen them. He named them one by one. The old Ent looked at them long and searchingly, and spoke to them in turn. Last, he turned to Legolas. So, you have come all the way from Mirkwood, my good elf? A great forest it used to be. And still is, said Legolas, but not so great that we who dwell there ever tire of seeing new trees. I should dearly love to journey in Fangorn's wood. I scarcely passed beyond the eaves of it, and I did not wish to turn back. Treebeard's eyes gleamed with pleasure. I hope you may have your wish ere the hills be much older, he said. I will come if I have the fortune, said Legolas. I've made a bargain with my friend that, if all goes well, we will visit Fangorn together, by your leave. Any elf that comes with you will be welcome, said Treebeard. The friend I speak of is not an elf, said Legolas. I mean Gimli, glowing sun here. Gimli bowed low, and the axe slipped from his belt and clattered on the ground. Fucking embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. Now, said Treebeard, looking dark-eyed at him. A dwarf and an axe-bearer. I have goodwill to elves, but you ask much. This is a strange friendship. Strange it may seem, said Legolas, but while Gimli lives, I shall not come to Fangorn alone. His axe is not for trees, but for orc-necks, O Fangorn, master of Fangorn's wood. 42 he hewed in the battle. Come now, said Treebeard. That is a better story. Well, things will go as they will, and there is no need to hurry to meet them. But now we must part for a while. Day is drawing to an end, yet Gandalf says you must go ere nightfall, and the Lord of the Mark is eager for his own house. Yes, we must go, and now, said Gandalf. I fear that I must take your gatekeepers from you, but you will manage well enough without them. Maybe I shall, said Treebeard, but I shall miss them. We have become friends in so short a while that I think I must be getting hasty, growing backwards towards youth, perhaps. But there, they are the first new thing under sun or moon that I have seen for many a long, long day. I shall not forget them. I have put their names into the long list. Ence will remember it. Ent the earth-born, old as mountains, the wide walkers water drinking, and hungry as hunters the hobbit children, the laughing folk, the little people. They shall remain friends as long as leaves are renewed. Fare you well, but if you hear news up in your pleasant land in the Shire, send me word. You know what I mean, word or sight of the Entwives. Come yourselves if you can. We will, said Merry and Pippin together, and they turned away hastily. Treebeard looked at them and was silent for a while, shaking his head thoughtfully. Then he turned to Gandalf. So Saruman would not leave? He said. I did not think he would. His heart is as rotten as a black Huorn's. Still, if I were overcome and all my trees destroyed, I would not come while I had one dark hole left to hide in. No, said Gandalf, but you have not plotted to cover all the world with your trees and choke all other living things. But there it is. Saruman remains to nurse his hatred and weave again such webs as he can. He has the key of Orthanc, but he must not be allowed to escape. Indeed, no. Ence will see to that, said Treebeard. Saruman shall not set foot beyond the rock without my leave. Ence will watch over him. Good, said Gandalf. That is what I hoped. Now I can go and turn to other matters with one care the less. But you must be wary. The waters have gone down. It will not be enough to put sentinels round the tower, I fear. I do not doubt that there were deep ways delved under Orthanc, and that Saruman hopes to go and come unmarked before long. If you will undertake the labor, I beg you to pour in the waters again, and do so until Isengard remains a standing pool, or you discover the outlets. When all the underground places are drowned and the outlets blocked, then Saruman must stay upstairs and look out of the windows. Leave it to the Ents, said Treebeard. We shall search the valley from head— Oh, my Treebeard voice, dog. Leave it to the Ents, said Treebeard. We shall search the valley from head to foot and peer under every pebble. Trees are coming back to live here. Old trees, wild trees. The Watchwood we will call it. Not a squirrel will go here, but I shall know of it. Leave it to Ents. Until 7 times the years in which he tormented us have passed, we shall not tire of watching him. Boom, roasted. Voice of Saruman, done. What a fucking fire-ass short little chapter. Fresh Prince, how are you now? Not bad yourself. Give this guy a fucking puppers. I dog-eared a couple pages, one of which being I really enjoy Gandalf calling for Saruman, kind of like a Saruman, we're gonna fuck you, Saruman. Like, it's so good. Yeah. My dude. Distribute some free literature. Mire spirits can choose their form and appearance like wearing clothing. Wizards are trapped in a form of an aging man to constrain their powers. Yes, Zephyr. Essentially, like, they're ageless beings, obviously, but when they appear in Middle Earth, they are old dudes, so that, like, their physical form is somewhat limited. McMurray, how are you now? God. Okay, I'm really enjoying the Letterkenny crossover here today, very much. I also like how this chapter, the way it's worded, as I said earlier, is a great indication of the magic that's present here without outwardly saying magic. Like, it's referred to as a spell, but yeah, the way that this particular chapter is written is like the reader is also under the spell of Saruman while the spell is effective, and I really, really like that a lot. Like, the descriptions kind of draw you into being like, what's going to happen? Like, is he going to convince them, or are they going to convince him? We don't know. Obviously, we do know everything works out in the end, but I like that the voice of Saruman enchants even us as readers as we're going through this chapter. I like that Pippin has to go get the bowling ball, because, like, of course he does. He's a plot device, essentially, until we get to Return of the King at this point. More on that next week. Um, Chat, I'm loving this. Yeah, Zephyr's got the knowledge and is dropping it hard while everyone else is talking about Letterkenny. Oh, stop it. You know I love Rip and Didge. Um, but yeah, also I enjoy very much like Saruman's voice is clearly very powerful, but whenever he's like pissed off or kind of like he wobbles in his conviction, his voice changes. He becomes like shrill. It's very similar to how I speak normally, but I have a different reading voice, which I'm like vaguely aware of, but several months back I officiated my brother's wedding, and as I was like practicing my speech for my husband, he was like, "Yeah, but you're using your Lord of the Rings reading voice. Don't do that. It sounds really weird." So now I'm overly aware of it. But yeah, just the idea of Saruman kind of like wavering because he's in a bad mood. His cloak of many colors isn't working out the way that he thought it was going to. Tarps off, fellas. Let's have a Donnybrook. Hold my spitter. Um, but yeah, I love it. It's like I don't have that much to say because like it's all said in the chapter. It's so good and effective. And this is another one where the extendo edition of Two Towers, or no, it's in Return of the King, isn't it? When Theoden gets to do his speech and we get We Shall Have Peace and uh Christopher Lee saying, "What is Rohan but a place where brigands drink in the reek and your brats roll on the floor with the dogs." Like, just the fucking insults. And it's not even shade, it's just like overt nastiness. Ooh, it's so good. Um, and then yeah, Grima throwing the fucking Palantir down, like trying to probably hit Saruman, but his aim is bad. If that had been a hobbit, Saruman would have died immediately. Um, you can kiss my esthetician. Uh, there's going to be a lot of out of context Letterkenny quoting in this one. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the whole cold open right now, but all I can think about is the fucking skids. Kiss my esthetician. I also really like the opener where they're playing catch and the one guy is talking about getting his G spot looked after. I really enjoyed it. It was really nice. It's fucking great. Yeah, this is a Letterkenny channel now. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I'm getting so off track because I'm just like, I love Letterkenny. I'm so delighted by it. But yeah, Voice of Saruman, so good. Again, like latent magic of Middle Earth, all up in this one. Yes, yeah, Squirrely Dan's butthole. Thank you. Sushis? Shoosies? You ever had a shoosies? Let's see. Oh yeah. Chat talked about this, but Legolas being like, my friend's not an elf actually, he's a dwarf. Is that going to be cool? Like, can I get a +1? Love that. Treebeard saying that the influence of Merry and Pippin has made him hasty, and also the last thing they do is turn away from him hastily. Cute. And he assures them that he has put their names into the long list so that they will not be forgotten. Yeah, just some really good shit in here. It's really nice. And then, yeah, foreshadowing is a literary device, guys. Treebeard says leave it to the Ents, and they're going to guard Saruman and make sure he doesn't escape. Sure. Sure, Jan. Sure. So next week, we're going to do chapter 11, The Palantir, which is quite a long one, and the last of book 3. And then we get to go have the worst days of Frodo and Sam's life consecutively over and over for the rest of the story, pretty much. So yeah, we'll do that next week. And then let me look at my calendar actually. Next week, yes. The following week, I think I have to skip a week again. Unfortunately, I have to go on a business trip, which is a huge bummer because I love doing this every week. It's so much fun. And I'm learning so much about the book that I've read a million times, trying to read it out loud. And also that I don't know shit about fuck because I don't know how to pronounce half the words in this book. So it's a journey of discovery. Never apologize for being lost in the sauce with Letterkenny. I love it. It's the best. I'm just like, I'm trying to think of literally any quote right now. You do CrossFit, you can cross fuck off. But yeah, the cold open of Letterkenny is really good. If you haven't seen Letterkenny, go watch it. A lot of it's on YouTube, actually, if you can't find it on Canadian TV. I cannot believe you've mentioned Shorzy in this chat here today. Anyway, I'm going to go make some peanut butter cookies. I will, as I said, be back next week. We'll finish book 3 next week, and then we'll have a nice breather before we get started on book 4 and everyone gets their shit rocked. Chat. Fuck, I guess I'm watching Letterkenny tonight. I'm working on some other fun stuff right now. Pippin video is coming, I promise. I'm just also in the middle of 2 other projects right now, so that'll happen when it happens. I have a full-time job, so I spend all of my free time doing this, and I love it. Oh, chat, very important. All of Letterkenny and Shorzy are on ITVX now. I haven't seen the Shorzy one, so I need to get in there because I love Shorzy. That shit's so funny. And I think Shorzy is played by the guy who plays Wayne. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, I'll see y'all next week. It'll probably be Tuesday again, but I'll post as per usual and let y'all know. And yeah, thank you again. Walk warily. Be careful of the little stones that'll flip over and tip you in. They're slimy. And staying steady for that quiz, bud. Toodaloo. Bye.